This is a video recording for the Malaysian University English Test, also known as MUET, Paper 2, the speaking component. For this component, each candidate will be given a worksheet with a situation. 2 minutes will be given for candidates to prepare their points to support the suggestion they are required to make. Then 2 minutes will be given to each candidate to present his or her views. While a candidate is presenting his or her viewpoint, the other candidates have to listen and take down notes for the group discussion in Task B. After listening to all the suggestions presented, the 4 candidates are given 2 minutes to prepare points to support or oppose the other candidates' views. They then have 10 minutes to discuss and try to come to a decision as to which of the 4 suggestions is the best. This is the seating arrangement. The 2 examiners are seated at opposite ends, and the candidates face one another in a group. The question papers are placed on the candidates' tables. You will now view Group 1's performance.
Okay, you have a worksheet in front of you. All right. You have a minute to study it. Okay, any questions?
No.
Yeah, right. Okay. Now you have 2 minutes to prepare your responses. Okay, you have had your 2 minutes. Right. Now, you each have 2 minutes to present your viewpoint. However, remember, listen to the others while they are making their presentations and take down notes for the group discussion in task B. Okay? All right. We'll start with candidate A.
Okay, as a member of our school counseling club, this week we would like to discuss the important influences on teenagers today. So, as a member of the club, my opinion is family has an important influence on teenagers today. So, why do I say that? It's because family is a group of people you are in contact most of the time in your earlier stages of life. Since you're a baby, you have been cared by your parents. Your parents, they teach you how to walk. You imitate your parents' moves and figures of speech. That's why we are more easily influenced by our parents. Besides that, I think family background also plays an important part. Let's say you are raised in different environments of background. Let's say this family is, let's say, a broken family. Maybe there's a bad marriage and you have a single parent. Maybe the child will feel less secure, and that influences his emotional values inside him or her. And besides that, every parent has their different upbringing. Maybe they bring up their child with better discipline than other parents. So in turn, it will influence the child directly. Besides that, every parent has aspirations for their own children. Let's say, I'm sure every parent hopes that their children will do well in everything, and this forms an unseen force of pressure to the child. The parents may not see it, but the child feels it the most, because normally we turn to our parents when we have problems, and if our parents are like complaining, why can't you do better and all that, they feel so insecure that they might feel emotionally unstable. Besides that, parents tend to want their children to follow in their footsteps. Let's say you come from a family of doctors. Naturally, you want your child to be a doctor. And there's this case of the siblings, where there's comparison, sibling rivalry between better siblings and the worst ones. So I think parents play an important part.
Thank you, candidate A. Right. We'll now go on to candidate B.
Okay, influence of friends on teenagers. I think we cannot deny that friends play an important role in our lives, especially during our upbringing. As we grow up, our family tends to fade into insignificance where advice and opinions are concerned. I mean, for example, would we confide in our in our parents? Would we feel comfortable telling them our problems? Instead, we'll obviously go to our friends. And in that way, you can see that influence on friends, or our friends' influence, will be much greater that way. And we tend to follow the crowd nowadays. Let's say we are going to a shopping mall, or your friends want to go to a shopping mall, but you want to go to the library. You can't possibly say, I want to go to the library, and all the friends follow us to the library, right? That's why we can see how great the impact of friends in our lives. And what about fashion? We obviously want to wear what our friends wear, isn't it? We wouldn't want to wear things which our parents recommend. Okay, in a way, now in this influence, when influence is concerned, how deeply it affects us actually depends on the individual himself or herself. You should know how to differentiate between the good and the bad. And I was stressing a lot on the bad influences just now. There are good influences, like peer pressure. For example, say your friend is a brilliant student. Obviously you would strive to compete with him or her. And in a way, that type of influence is good, and it is positive. And how to differentiate between the good and the bad? Sometimes it actually really depends on the crowd you mix with, especially your friends.
Right? Okay, Jason? Okay. We'll go on to candidate C now.
I think that the mass media has an important influence on teenagers today. This is because teenagers are very easily influenced at an age as young as they are. And mass media is the closest way of communication that surrounds students and teenagers. For example, the TV, Movies and dramas are seldom censored, and violent and sexual scenes can be easily viewed, and this may also influence the teenagers to act violently. And the fashion that these characters wear may also make the teenagers think that it's okay to flaunt their assets. And through the radio, teenagers are exposed to descriptive and emotional songs that are being performed by these artists. For example, you can hear Eminem stressing how he wants to take revenge on his ex-wife, but no, rationally in real life you just cannot do that, and it's not good. And through the internet, teenagers can easily access pornography sites, and nobody can stop them because the computers are at home and they can just do whatever they want. And through magazines, we have magazines like Playboy or FHM, and these are the magazines that really influence teenagers to think wrongly about society. And fashion magazines really influence teenagers to wear whatever they want, and these fashions like these that are being worn in the West are not accepted in society in the East today. Thank you.
Thank you, Candidate C. Candidate D, your turn. 2 minutes from now.
I feel well-known personalities have fantastically great influence on teenagers today. For example, Nicole David, a very young age sportsmanship, she has become a very successful squash player since Form 3. This will give the teenagers the impression that even young teenagers like her could do well and become successful. At the same time, we have the very famous Malaysian Azhar Mansur, who has travelled all around the world with his yacht Jalo Gemilang. This proves to say that he has a lot of patience and determination in trying to strive his success. As such, teenagers who go through his way of his sailing will learn from him about all his patience and determination. My next example will be Nelson Mandela. He's very famous, well-known personality, and he's well known for his patriotic feeling as he fought for independence and freedom for his race. As such, teenagers who look at his patriotism will definitely be more patriotic towards their country. However, very sad to say, these well-known personalities also imply very bad suggestions to these teenagers. Let me give one very good example. A teenager who watches films a lot, such like Rambo, will try to imply all their stunts in the film. In that film, Rambo, acted by Sylvester Stallone, does a lot of fighting scenes, killing people and bashing up people for no reason. As such, teenagers in school, even they have small problems with their friends, will start bashing up their friends, punching and kicking them all over the places. Another very good example is the TV show Knight Rider and F1 racing of car racing. Teenagers who watch all this F1 or Knight Rider, and they drive cars very fast. Probably they even do 140 kilometers per hour in the highway, and they feel that's too slow for them. This is ridiculous.
Right. Okay, time's up. Candidate D, thank you. Okay, we have listened to each other. Now let's move on to task B. You have to try to come to a decision as to which of the 4 suggestions you heard is the best. You'll now be given 2 minutes to prepare points to support or oppose the other candidate's views. 2 minutes from now. Okay, you've had your 2 minutes. All right. You can now start the discussion. Now, any one of you can start, and altogether you have about 10 minutes for the discussion. Okay? Right.
So I think that this all boils down to one point, is that family really has a great influence on teenagers. So what do you all think?
But you see, we as students, students, I think we spend more time in school rather than anywhere else. Practically 12 hours in a day we spend outside the house, may it be tuition or whatnot. So, I think everywhere you go, friends play a much bigger role in influencing us.
Exactly, because since we spend so much time with friends, their opinion begins to count even more than your parents' opinions. And you asked the question, which was, if your parents said you had to buck up in your studies and your friends told you, if your parents said that you were lousy in your studies and your parents and your friends said you were lousy in your studies, which one would you respond to more? Obviously your friends, right?
Why? Because I think it's your friends is, we have this image that we want to take care outside the house, not if my mom were to say, Elaine, you've been watching too much TV, stop. And because, it's really affecting your studies. But then I'll be thinking, I can do it later, no mom, kind of thing. So, I don't know, friends. And because friends are usually in our same group, so I suppose we take what they say more seriously.
But whatever is said and done, I still agree with what Elaine said earlier, that regarding the mass media. So I feel that mass media like television and radio plays a very important role in influencing teenagers compared to those of parents and friends. Because mass media, that's where they spend most of their time. In fact, most teenagers nowadays, if you look statistically, they are the ones most patrioting the theatres, shopping complex and things like that. So they practically every day they're glued down to their TV. So this way they receive all their bad influence or good influence. So what do you think about that?
If you're talking about movies and going shopping and all, I think it's the same as going out with your friends as well, if you want to talk about it that way. Yeah, because you go to movies with who? Your friends. Your friends influence you to go to all these places. It's not the movies come here and watch us like that.
Yeah, and I guess it is more, it is more happening if you do what your friends do.
Yeah, but then don't you think that family-wise, if you have a problem, maybe your friends can't solve it, your family also plays an important part. You usually go to your parents and ask, what's this advice? When you go everywhere, if you're alone, if you don't have your friends, who influences you in your thinking? Your parents' advice.
Okay, I can agree with that to a certain point. But then, what happens when you have girl problems and you have to confide in someone? Would you go to your parents?
Okay, if I was a guy, I would go to my dad and ask for advice, because he's been through our time.
No, but you see, what they went through is not not the same what we are going through right now.
There's a generation gap.
Yeah, there's a generation gap, and it's quite. I think it's
but
quite.
Don't you think that parents nowadays, they're more into what we do? Also, they listen to some of the songs we listen on the radio as well. They watch movies that we watch as well.
I think I totally disagree with your point. This is because I have few reasons to support it. See, teenagers nowadays, they go through a lot of changes in their life. Firstly, we speak scientifically, they go through hormonal changes. Could parents understand this kind of hormonal changes? I doubt it. They always expect something from their children, something good, not something bad. But they fail to realize that through these hormonal changes, something bad could also be expected from their children. So when this something bad comes out from their children, they can't go back to their parents. Don't you think so? They definitely has to go back to friends who are the same age with them. So your point is totally out of the point.
Especially when all the pressure comes from the parents and the family himself. Where are they to turn to? If your dad says, well, you shouldn't be hanging out with your friends so much, and then that's a problem. Are you going to confide in your parents about that problem because they implemented that rule?
But I think these four factors, in a way, they do influence us.
They correlate, is it?
Yeah, no, as in they play.
Contribute.
Yeah, they do influence us. We can't say that only friends influence us because, for instance, well-known personalities like The Rock. I mean, you have your small children going around now doing the rock bottom and all, what not.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure. I have a brother. Okay, so I think to some certain extent, but let's all let's think more. Not until so wide. I think in a way, friends play the most role. The most important role in influencing us, especially.
But I think I disagree with your statement that friends play the most important. The word "the most important" there, I think it doesn't suit that sentence.
Okay, so what do you think?
Because I feel there are many other aspects you got to look into. You got to analyze carefully before you coming to a conclusion. Like friends playing the most important. You see, right? It differs totally from the topic.
Okay.
I feel that well-known personalities, as she said initially, play a very important role. You see, how this collaborates with teenagers are very simple. When these kind of well-known personalities, they attract the attention of teenagers. Okay, firstly, they do stunts like fighting. Okay, in another scene, Eminem, who is released his album lately, The Stand. It's about his girlfriend, and something killing herself or something like that. So these teenagers, when they look this kind of thing, and when they probably have love failure or something, they too tend to do the same thing, that is to probably commit suicide or something. So the effect there is even greater compared to friends, as what you said. What do you think about that?
That's quite true because.
But can I just defend my one for a while? Okay, you see, but actually when we have failure in our relationships. Okay, we do listen to very sad songs and all, but in a way I think we still go back to communication with people, which is with real people. Could it be your family, your friends? But
it's more solid.
Yeah, it's more you can have a two-way communication in that way. So
okay, I feel all of y'all have various different aspects and things y'all are stressed about. Okay, but in conclusion, what do y'all actually think is the most important point that affects teenagers or influence teenagers nowadays?
In my opinion, I think all these influences, that we all just discussed, contribute fairly. Though not in the same amount, but they do contribute to this. The influences on teenagers. But then, we can't really say that. Well, friends are the most influential because under different circumstances, there will be a different amount of influence.
Well, I can see that all of y'all have different aspects of what y'all are trying to stress out about the influence teenagers get nowadays. But then, we cannot just come to a summary that there's a most influence or something like that. What do you agree about that, Jason?
Now, in my opinion, I think all these influences that we just discussed just now, they contribute in one way or another.
Sure.
Though not in the same amount.
True.
So we can't really say that, friends are the most influential on us, because we can't just allocate 25% family, 25% friends, 25% and so on.
Yeah.
So if under different circumstances, the amount of influence these four factors have on us vary.
Yeah, in fact, I totally agree with what Jason says, because it depends on the individual actually, on that particular teenager. Okay, if he's a person who always listens to the family and things like that, so he wouldn't have problems with
He would be
with his
influenced by his
parents.
family.
Yes.
Yeah,
True.
okay, and vice versa for other things and all. So what do you think about that?
I think, actually, I begin to think that it is true that all these four factors are same amount of influence, to us. So we are actually saying that these four factors do influence us, depending on the situation that the teenager is in.
Yeah.
Yeah, to add to what she's saying, I think finally a perfect individual will be formed if that particular person can cope with all this kind of influence, and that's where there's a champion kind of teenager who is a real good teenager will be formed. What do you all think?
Yes.
Yes.
Totally agree.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Have you anything else to say?
Then I think in conclusion, I think that all the 4 factors have an important influence to teenagers in their life.
Okay. 10 minutes is up. We've enjoyed listening to you all. Thank you. Okay. You may leave now. Please just don't take away the question paper. Thank you.
Thank you.
You will now watch Group 2's performance.
Okay. Take a look at the worksheet which is on your table. You have a minute to study it. Okay. Any questions? Anybody? Yeah, okay. Right. Now you have 2 minutes to prepare your responses. All right. 2 minutes up. You each have 2 minutes to present your viewpoint. But remember, listen to the others while they are making their presentations and take down notes for the group discussion for task B. Okay, we will start. Candidate A, would you like to be the first?
In my opinion, I think that family has an important influence on teenagers because firstly they are the ones who encourage these teenagers to study. Nowadays, parents want their children to perform well in their studies, so they will send their children for tuition, and maybe they'll also get a private tutor for their child. Besides that, when they see their child just lazing about in the house, they will also pester their child to get to the books or to do their homework or stuff like that. Second thing is that the family is also the one who helps these teenagers decide on things to do. They help these teenagers decide on to do things that they help these teenagers to decide on what's right and what's wrong. They also help them decide on who to mix with, on who not to mix with, what movies should they watch and what movies they should not watch. And also they will also help their children to decide on what course of study to choose. Then I think that family also plays an important role in influencing these teenagers by setting a good example. If the teenager comes from a family of high achievers, he or she will be more motivated, or will be motivated to study harder to become like the parents or maybe his or her siblings.
Okay, thank you, Candidate A. We'll move on to Candidate B now. It's your turn.
I think friends play an important role in our life since we spend most of our time with the friends and we think we are the same wavelength with them. And then none of us can survive without friends, right? Okay, for example, when we teenagers are facing problems, we tend to discuss it with friends and try to overcome with the help of our friends. and we don't go to parents and go all out and share with them. So I think I think friends is a major influence on teenagers today. For example, if we mix around with friends who are smart and hardworking, we tend to follow and try to compete with them. And in that way, we can improve ourselves too. And if we mix around with the friends who are good in sports, the next thing we ended up taking up sports too. Teenagers now, they follow their friends in every aspect, from fashion or the place where they hang out. For example, when your parents ask you to wear blouse or dress, you won't. You rather go for t-shirt and jeans because all your friends are wearing the same thing. Okay. But if we are in those cliques that always wasting their time by loitering around in the shopping malls, or discos or pubs and all this night plays, I think it's not surprised that we've become one of them too.
Okay, thank you, Candidate B. We'll now move on to Candidate C. You have 2 minutes to present your views.
It is a known fact that the mass media plays a big role in influencing our youth today. Medias like televisions, radios, the internet, and reading materials are being watched, being listened to, and being read by them. For example, from television, they can watch movies like Scary Movie or Basic Instinct, which promote sex and violence, and these teenagers tend to think about it, tend to think that it is okay to do the stuff they have seen, if you know what I mean. Besides that, radio also plays music. I mean, radio plays some music, not all. Plays some music which is unacceptable in our society. Music like, for example, music of Limp Bizkit, which is very, very, very aggressive, and full of hatred. They use a lot of vulgar words in their songs, so I think that's not good for our teenagers. But however, there are medias which brings healthy influences to in our teenagers, like the internet. From the internet, you can access to many websites which can give you a lot of information about business news, sports news, and others. If you want information about like football, you can just log on to www.soccernet.com and stuff.
Okay, thank you, Candidate C. All right, we'll now go on to Candidate D. You have 2 minutes.
In my opinion, well-known personalities have an important influence on today's teenagers. Well-known personalities, they have two types, the good and the bad. Okay, the good one, they bring good moral values, and for the bad, which is the total opposite of it. Okay, example for the good well-known personalities, we have leaders and influential people such as Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. These leaders and influential people in today's modern society could motivate teenagers to strive and to be the best. Their courage, qualities, and their patience have the ability to influence the society, and it should be followed by all, especially teenagers. At this age, influence from anyone could bring a major role in the teenagers' future. As for the bad, well-known personalities, we have radical or hardcore stars, movie stars, and such as Marilyn Manson, or even some influential bandits such as Bonnie and Clyde.
Okay, their overrated freedom and glamour lives makes them influential and appealing to teenagers. Why? Because these teenagers feel that they should be just like them, and also besides that, the perils of the fame and fortune these artists get makes them more appealing, and they think that as a teenager they should be like them and follow their footsteps. Yeah, that's all.
Is that all? Okay. Thank you, candidate D. All right. Now that we have listened to each other's viewpoints, let's move on to task B. You have to try to come to a decision as to which of the 4 suggestions that you have heard is the best. You'll be now be given 2 minutes to prepare points to support or oppose the other candidates' viewpoints. 2 minutes from now. All right, time's up. Now, any one of you can start the discussion. You have a total of 10 minutes for the discussion. Okay? Anybody?
I think I'll go first. Out of all 4 factors that we have here, I think that friends has the most influence on teenagers today. Since, like I said earlier, friends, we always hang out with friends in our lifetime, and we don't always go to our parents, even though we stay in the same house, but we are always out for school and then for work and all that. Okay, as for family, even though they're the closest, but we don't feel comfortable sharing problems with our parents sometimes, because sometimes the problem we're facing, we think it's better to share with our friends, because maybe they've gone through the same thing as well. Okay, like the movies and all sorts of entertainment brought in from the West today, most of the time are not suitable for our society in the East. Okay. As for the well-known personalities, some teens nowadays tend to follow personalities whom they think are cool, like you say earlier, Marilyn Manson, who is always a symbol of violence, and they're not usually follow the goods one, who can motivate us, lead us, and teach us how to strive for our best. Okay, don't you think so, candidate C?
Well, I think that's quite true, but I think the mass media is the most influence. I mean the factor which most influence teenagers today, I think it is the mass media, because like the mass media is not like just magazines or television. It concludes all like say television. Everyone watches television. Teenagers, all walks of life. Then teenagers listen to radio, they read magazines, they surf the internet, they watch television. I think that's it lah. Because when you watch television, then you watch someone like very pretty wearing that blue shirt. Of course, you want to buy that T-shirt. Not like if you see your friends wearing, one of your friends wearing that same T-shirt and she looks like not that pretty, then you won't be like, no, I don't want to buy that. Right?
I will still want to stress on my point that I think that family is always important to these teenagers nowadays. Like what she said just now, that these teenagers should turn to their friends whenever they need help or anything, but I always think that teenagers should turn to their parents instead of turning to their friends, because parents they are more mature, they are more experienced, they know what's right and they know what's wrong, and they've experienced everything. Besides, instead, their friends, they are still young,
and sometimes they won't take the whole situation seriously and might end up giving the wrong advice to their friends.
I think I'm not totally agree with what candidate A just said, because not all teenagers would like to go to their parents. The fact that their parents are very, very busy at work, and to manage their work, their in the household, which I think it's a very difficult task. So I don't think we as a teenager would like to go up to them. What I think is my opinion about well-known personalities, and also what candidate C has just said just now, it has a correlation between it, because once you're famous, let's say we take some artists who just got famous, so there will be such followers and admirers. So where do you get where do you get the fame? Obviously it's from the mass media, all sorts of stories and gossips splashing out on TV, internet, and also the newspaper. So I think so what the teenagers would do, because since they are not type of person who they would seem to have a strong image. Yeah, they're still looking for their image. So they would easily find someone who is famous for them to look on. Let's say, like, I think and these teenagers are somewhat still searching for their identity. So once they see someone who's influential on the mass media, so they would follow, hoping that it will be like the in thing for them. So once you follow, let's say, artist A, then then one will follow, and then the other will follow, and it will be a trend among them. I think that really brings a major influence on the teenagers. Do you agree? Anyone agree?
Yeah, I agree with that. But then it depends what kind of artists that they follow. Like Limp Bizkit, that candidate C mentioned, I think they're promoting violence, and Eminem, there's this song about he killed his girlfriend and dumped her into a river, something like that. Okay, will the teenagers do the same thing also? Who know? But I think that they need some other guidance to lead them on how to choose the right artist, right person as a example.
But
so you're saying teenagers tend to follow their artists, what the artists do. So which means like my factor is the most influence on teenagers today, because like there was a news about this about this kid killed his friend while doing this wrestling maneuver on his friend I mean. So I think television, which is one of the mass media plays a big role in influencing teenagers today.
Sorry to interrupt candidate C, but I think I mentioned about that just now. Parents are the ones who will help these teenagers decide what movies, what TV programs they should watch, and what TV program they shouldn't watch.
Yes, but do you really believe in that?
Yeah, if the parent is really responsible enough, he will always look out for his son or his daughter.
If the parent is responsible enough.
I do agree with what candidate A just said just now, because if a parent knows how to play their role as a parent to educate their children, I think there wouldn't be a problem about how the mass media would influence, or maybe well-known personalities and trends. Let's see if the parent has planted a good foundation, moral and religious study, morally and religiously. So I don't think that these children would easily go astray with their friends, loafing around in supermarkets, or maybe starting to do all these wrestling maneuvers or somewhat, which if the parent brings a good role, they have a good role for their children, I think there won't be a problem about that.
But the problem is, some of the parents today, they are busy trying to earn more and more money just to buy fancy cars, bungalows, so that they live like some elites, and then they don't usually spend the time with the kids, and that's when the teenagers go to their friends, and like you all mentioned just now, the entertainment and all. The parents won't know that the kids are watching what kind of movies. They don't watch it at home. They go to some other's friend's house, and then you never know.
But if the parent knows how to control what the children is watching or what the children is seeing or reading, so why shouldn't there be such problem?
But not many parents are going to do that. I mean, like she said, most parents are like busy doing their work, earning more money, you know. So, which factor you guys think most influence on teenagers today?
But on the other hand, I think that family do play a part, since with the proper guidance and a healthy family. Like tuition, sports, or piano class, they ask the children to go to. But I think it's okay. But something, if it goes over the border, like it's too much, it will make the situation bad, because the more you push the kid tends to, go to the negative side. So
you're saying family influence factor, the most influence factor?
Thank you. I'm sorry I have to stop you. It's very interesting, right? It's all right. We haven't come to a decision as such, but you have had your say. Okay? Thank you. You can leave now. Make sure you don't take out the question papers. Thank you.
Next, you will watch Group 3's performance. Alright, you have a worksheet before you. Study your worksheet, and you have 1 minute to do so. If you have any questions, you may ask. Okay. Right, your 1 minute is up. You now have 2 minutes to prepare your responses. Okay, your 2 minutes is up. Now you each have 2 minutes to present your viewpoint. Remember that when your friends are speaking or when your group members are speaking, you can take some notes if you for later you would like to oppose or support the opinion, agree or disagree with your friend's opinion, okay? So candidate A, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. So, as a member of counseling clubs of our school, well, I would like to express some points of view of mine. Okay, as a matter of fact, our most intimate and the closest person since we were born is undeniably our parents. Okay, they nurture us, educate us, and take well care for us. Although sometimes they have the veto power, meaning full control kind of thing to us, our freedom,
but then they are just too concerned about the children. Okay, for example, yeah, that's why kiasu culture exists in Singapore. Well, sometimes parents' aspirations, meaning they have high expectations towards their children. They want them to be the future leader, doctor, engineer, and some great person in the future. Well, due to that matter, mentally disturbed is unavoidable by the children, and the pressure and tense will always exist. Okay, and then the parents like to compare. Comparisons always exist. They keep comparing with other students that can do better than their children. Well, with that, they provide tuition. They ask their children to go for extra classes, tuition classes, intensive learning, or ask the private tutor go to their house and provide all the courses for them to pursue their study. Okay, with that, pressuring their children to compete with other better students in the class. Okay, with different background, like broken family, the parents due to the failure in marriage, the children will feel insecurity among them, and the bad consequences will exist.
Okay, your time is up. Candidate A. Candidate B, you are given 2 minutes to speak. Please remember to speak to your friends, okay? You don't have to look at the examiners, alright?
Don't you all agree with me if I said that friends' influence play a vital role on teenagers? Yes, I strongly will say that friends' influence play a vital role on teenagers. It is because friends are the person who spend most of the time with us. For those who are good, parents have both influence.
Okay.
I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Can I carry on?
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, take it easy. Okay.
Friends has both influence, bad influence and good influence. For those who have good moral values, good behavior and habits, and smart students can become a good influence for us. It is because as we are always with them, we might influence. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
All right. Never mind. You can try when you have your group discussion afterwards. Okay, shall we move on to candidate C? You have 2 minutes to present your view.
Okay, in my point of view, I think the mass media has an important influence on teenagers. For example, internet. Teenagers can receive unscrupulous information without any barrier. As for example, explicit material like pornographic, violence act, dirty jokes and rumors can pollute our young generation mind. We can easily accessible by just pressing a few buttons on the keyboards. This is very bad because it can pollute our young generation mind and make them to act badly in the public. The second thing is about the radios. As we all know, sometimes radio teachers didn't use the correct and proper English. Usually they will use some what we call as bahasa pasar, like got meh? No lah, where got? Something like that. And this can influence the teenagers, and they've started to practice this kind of improper language in our daily society. Besides that, some radio station also plays some songs which the lyrics are extremely not suitable for our community. For example, Eminent and Limp Bizkit. For televisions, some television stations brought in some Western programs which are not suitable for Asians. For instance, the World Wrestling Federations, which have the program about wrestling, which is mainly about fighting, kicking, and so on. These kind of violence actions shouldn't be on air and show to our society, especially the teenagers. Of course, we don't want our teenagers to follow what the wrestling athletes do, which is fight and fight. Besides that, magazines and newspapers also have a great influence to our teenagers. Teenagers will be influenced by the fashion trends and through the magazines and try to follow what's the personalities in the westerns. For example, how they wear, how is their hairstyles, and so on.
Okay, your 2 minutes is up, right?
Okay.
Let's move on to candidate D.
Okay, as a candidate, my opinion is well-known personalities have an important influence on our teenagers. And okay, as we know, teenagers right now are the leaders of the futures, and they can be influenced to well-known personalities exactly. So this is because on the stars that they watch at televisions or magazines or listen to the radios, they give a big influence to them to follow the attitudes of well-known personalities. As examples, I take world leaders like Prime Ministers, our Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. They are national leaders who are respecting the international in governing our country. And another example is also Gloria Arroyo, that's new president of Philippines. She is a woman leader. She is the first woman leader and can have a role model for the girls to be like her, or because of the age. Okay. It's also another first example you can also, about Princess Diana. Okay, we can look for the good aspects, that the characters, whatever the project that she have done, like our charity project, right? As a well-known person, they got so many suppliers and so on, and the bad in having their lives, the social lives and etc. Okay. Also, the bad influence like mental musics, like their lyrics, they give influence in having a bad lyrics to those things who hear the songs like hard musics, affects the mentalities of our teens. And also the socials in their life, they were announced to audience and having a good thinking that what they are doing. They also
Okay,
okay,
sorry to interrupt. Your time is up. Now, you have a 10 minutes discussion, and at the end of it, we'll try to come to a conclusion, okay? Okay, anyone can start the discussion.
Okay, I would like to start first, okay? After hearing all the points from you all, I think I agree with candidate A that the family is the most important factor to influence the teenagers nowadays. This is because teenagers spend most of their times with the family members, especially their parents. If parents give their love and care to their child, I'm sure the child will understand the difficulty life of their parents and try to behave well to their parents. Furthermore, I think parents shouldn't give too much pressure to their child about this and that, especially in the sense of career and study. Success isn't just to get a good result in exams, get a degree, or find a well-paid jobs. A real success person is to achieve the best in behavior, morality, respect, and so on, but not really get straight A's in exams. What do you think about this, candidate B?
Okay, as my opinions, I think well-known personalities have got a big influence also to the teenagers. This is because the way the actors or actress dresses, that so fashionable stars, that teens can be follow the those artists. And I think I just read a newspaper yesterday. Okay, there's a teens dressing like film stars like Kajol. So this is going a big influence to these teenagers. So
okay, excuse me.
What?
I want to add that I'm not really agree with you, because if the teenagers realize about their parents' difficulty in finding the monies for their life,
it really depends to the person.
yeah, it depends to their person themselves. If their parents groom their child with a proper way, and of course I'm sure the child wouldn't think that because I want glamour, so I wear this kind of thing, I wear that kind of thing, without thinking that the financial problems that the family have.
Okay, candidate B, would you like to
Yes, I think
say what you want
not
to say just now?
Actually, I'm not really agreed with candidate as candidate
Yeah,
C
me
said.
too.
Because not only parents, most of the times I feel nowadays
Most of
teenagers
the
spend their
times
times with their friends. So in this case, friends influence play a vital role.
Well, I strongly believe my points that I stressed just now will be the best influence. Because why? And okay, let me clarify the candidate's point. But tendency to follow the crowd, meaning follow the actresses and the actors from the TV screen, well, it can be avoided. Nevertheless, can you avoid the members in the family, and then you won't spend much time with them, and then you can do all those things, right? Well, disobedience of parents' implications on fashion trend, well, due to the factor of well-known personalities. Doesn't it mean families is a main factor? Okay, then for the second one, I think the peer culture will be the main factor for it, because they follow their friends, and then they just follow their friends blindly, and they do not have sufficient care and love from their family members. So with that, they will go on for the candidates D's point, which is well-known personalities, and the candidate B, friends. So doesn't it mean family plays the most important roles and then provides the most important influences towards the teenager? What do you think, candidate C?
Add on to that, I would like to express my point that about the full control from parents. I think a correct parent is supposed to give freedom to their child as much as their child can handle. What I mean here is, if the child know what are they doing, what they want in their life, I'm sure if how much the peer pressure also, the child know what is he doing or her doing. So without anything, if the families groom the child properly until they realize what is their life actually means, I'm sure the child wouldn't do anything that follow the trends of their peers' pressure.
Okay, candidate C. Let candidate C have say her views. You want to say something?
Okay, me candidate D. Okay, I just think well-known personalities have got a big influence. That's because well-known personalities are very pop stars. Okay, like we can see how the Nicole Davids got to balance very good studies in the studies. And Nicole David also do very well in sports, and also do very well in in her studies. So, but as we know, most of times.
Excuse me, candidate D. Anyhow, I'm not really agree with your selection, because first of all, parents play the big role. If they are really close to the person, if they act as a friend to them, the person really no need to have to go out and find for a friend to tell their problems. They can always refer to the parents and cooperate with them. So I think parents have to really spend most of their time cooperate with their children. Ask them what's your problem. So have to give them more moral values and be good to them.
It seems sometimes someone has been convinced by my point. Okay, so since we are running out of time, I think personally, on my points of view, I agree with every factors that provided by all the candidates, but to a certain extent, okay, they equally contribute a certain extent of influences. Okay, what I think is provides balanced care, freedom, attention, concern, just like taking balanced nutrition food for the good health. So equally, we have to observe everything and absorb. Well, what do you think, candidate D?
Okay lah, I think all those factors are included, and okay, families also got a big influence to teenagers, because most of teenagers are staying at home and with their parents, and Yeah, I do agree as you.
What about the rest of you?
Agree, alright.
So I'm sure all of us agree that the family is play the most important roles in our teenagers' life.
Can we choose family and well-known personalities?
No, but anyway, the family factor is also linked to the candidate C's point, which is the mass media, which the TV and all those shows that have been stressed by candidate C, which are very
really
aggressive, radicals, and expressive. And then one more thing, from the internet, I noticed that it seems to have received the porno info without any barrier from the internet. So I think the linkage between my factors and candidate C's factor is equally important. Well, what do you think, candidate B?
Yes, I agree with you. Anyhow, whatever you said, I still stand my opinion. Say that parents play the big role, because they really won't go to anywhere if the parents really concentrate on the children. Say that you really have to choose the magazine, guide them how they have to be in the future. Tell them what is the importance.
The broken families?
Pardon?
The broken families.
Yeah, that's the point.
That's the point.
That's the point. It will give the bad consequence after the broken family and then due to the failure marriage that I have pointed out just now. So
you just pointed out that families are a bit.
It actually depends to the family's background, how they really can grow up the children.
It depends to the personalities.
Okay, your time is up actually. Can you decide now on this conclusion? Are you going to say that family is the most important, has the most important influence?
I think we all agree
Yes,
that the
family
family is the most important.
Okay, family is the most important influence on the teenagers.
Yes.
Right. Thank you very much. It's been interesting listening to your viewpoints. You can leave everything behind, but just take your IC and your slip, registration slip with you, okay?
Okay.
We hope the recording will help you conduct the speaking exam in the correct manner and also help you assess the candidate's performance. Thank you.